Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you are floating, weightless, formless, in a vast and silent darkness. You cannot feel your hands. You cannot feel your feet. You have no body, no breath, no heartbeat you can sense. The world has vanished entirely. Now ask yourself, is there anything left? Something remains. Something that is asking the question, that something, that irreducible awareness, that presence at the center of the darkness, is what three of history's greatest minds spent their lives trying to understand. And what they found across centuries and continents will challenge everything you think you know about yourself. I think, therefore, who am I? Act 1. The Man Who Floated, Ibn Sina. We begin not in France, not with a philosopher sitting by a fire, but in the 11th century, somewhere between the ancient cities of Bukhara and Isfahan, in a world that was then the intellectual center of the known universe. His name was Ibn Sina, known in the Latin West as Avicenna. Born in 980 CE in the region of present-day Uzbekistan, he was a physician, a poet, a musician, a jurist, and one of the most prolific philosophers in the history of human thought. By the time he was 16, he had mastered medicine. By the time he was 18, he had read everything. But it was a thought experiment, a strange, dizzying mental image that would echo across 6 centuries and touch the mind of nearly every thinker who came after him. He called it the argument of the flying man, or in some translations, the floating man. Imagine, he wrote, that a person is created fully formed, an adult, rational, capable of thought, but suspended in midair, in complete darkness, arms and legs spread wide so that no limb touches another, sensory experience entirely absent. This person has never seen the world, has never touched it, has never heard it. He wrote in his precious book, Shafa, the Book of Healing, if such a condition were supposed, he would still affirm his own existence, though he would not affirm the reality of any of his limbs or his internal organs. Think about what this means. Strip away everything, every sensation, every memory, every relationship, and something persists, not the body, not the world, but the awareness of being aware, the self that knows it exists. Ibn Sina did not call this God. He did not call it the soul in a religious sense. He called it the nafs, a term that moves between soul, self, and mind in Arabic, a word that refuses to be pinned down, as if the thing itself resists definition. For Ibn Sina, the nafs was real, immaterial, and irreducible. It could not be divided. It could not be fully explained by the body, and its existence could be known directly, with greater certainty than anything in the external world. He wrote this 620 years before René Descartes sat beside his fire and said, I think, therefore I am. The question is not who said it first. The question is, what does it mean that two minds, separated by centuries and civilizations, arrived at the same precipice and then walked in entirely different directions? Act 2, The Man by the Fire, René Descartes. The year is 1641. Europe is still bleeding from the 30 Years' War. The old certainties, theological, cosmological, moral, are fracturing. Galileo has been tried by the Inquisition. The world is changing faster than anyone can comprehend. Into this crisis of certainty steps a French mathematician and philosopher named René Descartes, sitting alone in a room in the Netherlands, trying to do something that, in retrospect, seems almost insane: to doubt everything. Not as a game, not as rhetoric, as a genuine methodical experiment. He began by asking, what can I know with absolute certainty? And he discovered, to his horror, that the answer was almost nothing. The senses deceive us. Dreams can feel indistinguishable from waking life. There might even be, he entertained the possibility, a malicious demon of supreme power and cunning who has employed all his energies in order to deceive us. And yet, even in the midst of this radical doubt, something held. Descartes wrote in his Discourse on the Method, 1637, I noticed that while I thus wished to think all things false, it was absolutely essential that the I who thought this should be somewhat. And observing that this truth, "I think, therefore I am" was so certain and so assured that all the most extravagant suppositions of the skeptics were incapable of shaking it. I came to the conclusion that I could receive it without scruple as the first principle of the philosophy I was seeking. Cogito, ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. 3 words, 4 syllables, that changed Western philosophy forever. But what exactly had Descartes found? He had found what Ibn Sina had found, that the act of thinking proves the existence of the thinker. That consciousness cannot doubt itself without performing the very act it seeks to doubt. That the self is the one thing that cannot be stripped away. But from here, Descartes took a step that would define and haunt Western philosophy for the next 4 centuries. He concluded that the mind and the body are 2 completely separate substances. The mind, when res cogitans, thinking substance, is non-physical, invisible, indivisible, and immortal. The body, or as extensa, extended substance, is physical, mechanical, measurable. You are your mind. Your body is, in a profound sense, a machine that your mind inhabits. This is the Cartesian split: mind from body, subject from object, inner world from outer world. It sounds intuitive. Many of us still live as if it were simply true. But it immediately raised a question so devastating that Descartes never convincingly answered it, and philosophers are still wrestling with it today. If mind and body are entirely different substances, if one is immaterial and the other is physical, how do they interact? How does the thought to raise your hand actually move your hand? Descartes suggested the pineal gland as the meeting point. History has not been kind to this answer. Something had gone wrong, or rather, something had been left out. Act 3, the man who dissolved the divide, Baruch Spinoza. Baruch Spinoza was born in Amsterdam in 1632 into a community of Portuguese Jewish exiles. He grew up reading Descartes. He admired Descartes. He taught Descartes to his students. And then, quietly and irrevocably, he destroyed him. Not out of hostility, but out of love for a greater coherence. Spinoza looked at the Cartesian split between mind and body, at this monstrous gap between thinking substance and extended substance, and said, "This cannot be right. 2 entirely different substances cannot causally interact. The logic does not hold." His answer was as radical as it was elegant. "There is only one substance," Spinoza said, "one infinite, self-caused, self-sustaining reality." He called it Deus sive natura, God or nature. Not a personal God, not a creator separate from creation, but the totality of everything that exists, expressing itself through infinite attributes, of which we can only perceive 2, thought and extension. In ethics, he said, "Whatever is in God, and without God nothing can be or be conceived." Mind and body in Spinoza's system are not 2 different things. They are 2 different aspects of the same one thing, like 2 faces of a single coin, or, to use a more modern image, like the same data expressed simultaneously as software and as hardware. There is no Cartesian ghost in the machine, because there is no machine separate from the ghost. There is only one reality, infinite and indivisible, encountering itself through the 2 modes we happen to be able to perceive. But what does this mean for the self? For that I that Descartes found shining like a candle in the darkness of universal doubt? For Spinoza, the individual self is real, but it is not the ultimate reality. It is a finite mode of the infinite substance, like a wave on an ocean. The wave is real, it has shape and motion and identity, but it is not separate from the water. The ego and the feeling of being a distinct, bounded I at the center of the universe is, for Spinoza, a kind of useful illusion, a necessary fiction of finite perspective. And true freedom, he argued, is not the freedom of a will untethered from nature. It is the freedom that comes from understanding, from seeing yourself clearly within the infinite web of causes that constitute reality. This is where Spinoza parts ways not only with Descartes, but with the entire tradition he inherited. And it is precisely here that he becomes, unexpectedly, one of the most Eastern thinkers in the Western canon. Act 4, 3 minds at the edge of the same abyss. Let us now stand back and see what we have found. Ibn Sina, in 11th century Persia, suspends a man in midair and discovers that consciousness is irreducible, that the self exists prior to and independent of the body. Descartes, in 17th-century Holland, sits by a fire and strips away every certainty he possesses and finds the same irreducible thing, the thinking self, shining through the wreckage of doubt. Spinoza, reading Descartes with loving ruthlessness, concludes that neither mind nor body can be truly separate, that the self is real but not ultimate, a finite expression of something infinite and whole. 3 minds, 3 centuries, 3 worlds, and one persistent, burning question. What is the self? Ibn Sina said, "The self is the nafs, immaterial, indivisible, known directly. It is more certain than anything outside it." Descartes agreed, and then erected a wall between that self and the world it inhabits. Spinoza looked at the wall and said, "The wall is the problem." But here is what is remarkable. All 3 men arrived at the same starting point, the undeniable fact of inner experience, the irreducible fairness of consciousness, the thing that remains when everything else is taken away. And they all sensed, even if they expressed it differently, that this thing, this self, this awareness, is not simply one object among others in the world. It is, in some sense, the condition of there being a world at all. Ibn Sina called it the nafs. Descartes called it the res cogitans. Spinoza dissolved it into the one infinite substance, and in doing so perhaps expanded it beyond all limit. The question they could not fully answer, and we still cannot, is whether the self is a substance, a process, an illusion, or something language does not yet have the words for. The question that remains returned for a moment to the darkness. You are floating, the body has faded, the world is silent, and yet something remains. Ibn Sina would tell you that something is your soul, more real than your hand, more certain than the ground beneath your feet. Descartes would tell you that something is your mind, the only thing that cannot be doubted, the foundation upon which all knowledge must be built. Spinoza would tell you that something is a wave in an infinite ocean, real, beautiful, and temporarily shaped, before it returns to the water from which it came. None of them agrees, and yet all of them point, trembling, at the same thing. Philosophy does not always give us answers. Sometimes its greatest gift is to make the question more beautiful, to make the mystery more precise, more luminous, more worthy of our wonder. Ibn Sina died in 1037, reciting the Quran. Descartes died in 1650 in Stockholm, in the cold, composing a letter. Spinoza died in 1677 in The Hague, alone, still grinding lenses, still seeing the world through glass he had polished himself. All 3 left behind a version of the same question, unanswered, unresolved, still trembling in the air like a candle flame in a dark room. Who are you? Not what you do, or what you own, or what you remember, but the thing that is reading these words right now, the awareness behind the eyes, the presence that has no edges, the thing that floats in the darkness and knows it is there. Spinoza wrote in his Ethics, Part 2, Proposition 23, suggesting that even our inner life is mediated, partial, incomplete. The mind's nature is such that it cannot know itself except through the ideas of the modifications of the body. We are, perhaps, still that floating man, still suspended, still reaching for what we are. If this video made you stop and think, even for a moment, then it has done what philosophy is supposed to do. Lipar explores the human story and philosophy across time, its ideas, its beauty, and its enduring questions. If you are new here, consider subscribing. Every video is a journey worth taking. 3 of history's greatest minds spent their entire lives trying to understand the thing looking back at you. They never finished. Neither will we. And that, perhaps, is the most human thing of all.